Hey guys, right now I will be talking a bit about the IOTA block white paper. So before I go into the IOTA white paper, I want to make sure that you guys understand the difference between the blockchain and the Tangle. In the blockchain, for example, given a truck and you want to send some deliveries. So you wouldn't want to send the truck empty. You want to fill the whole truck with all your deliveries. So consider this truck as a block. And all these deliveries are the transactions. So once you have filled this block with all the transactions, only then you would send the block for mining. Now, what exactly is a mining? So mining can be thought of as somebody who just checks whether the truck is the deliveries are right. So it will confirm whether these transactions look all good, everything's good, and then send it off. So this can be the miner who just makes sure and checks that all the transactions in there are good. So it needs to be filled before we go to truck number 2. It doesn't make sense to create another truck if they all are going towards the same destination before you send it. However, in the Tangle, so let's have another scenario. Imagine no proctors in an exam. I know that's not a very it's not a very likable situation, but it I guess it's a scenario. So in this scenario, you are also the proctor. Your job is, this is you, your job is to make sure 2 people in front of you will not be cheating. So you verify the 2 people in front of you. Similarly, in Tangle, if this is you, that's a tip, you just verify the 2 transactions in front of you. Now, the Tangle's graph is called DAG. DAG is a directed acyclic graph. Now, acyclic means that it is not circular. This means that something that is already being verified will not verify a new transaction. So you will never see a scenario that goes something like that. Okay? And then, now I'm going to be talking about a low load versus a high load orientation. So in a low load, as new tips keep on coming in, they verify the tips. So for example, if I have a transaction that is coming here, it'll be verifying that things that are already unconfirmed, this and this. Now there are some good parts about it and the bad parts about it. So now since it's trying to verify more of the transactions that are not being confirmed, it will have faster approvals. So if I'm going to be verifying only this and this, these will get approved faster. And then, however, it may not be random enough. If I only have these 3 tips to choose from and not these 3, it's not going to be random enough. If I have all of them to choose from, so we're re-verifying this and this, for example, these 2, for example, that will be more random. And you can see that a bit in high or load orientation. In the high load orientation, you can see that already confirmed transactions are being re-verified and given more weightage by the new tips. So now the red shows the unconfirmed transactions. Now in this scenario, more tips are created. That means there are more number of unconfirmed transactions. This means that they have slower approvals and it's more likely to be more random. So we need to have a mix of both of these scenarios, a low orientation scenario where we can have faster approvals and a high load orientation where we have randomness. In the low orientation, we would not want the attacker to just verify his tips really quickly, right? And that's when I want to talk about security. Double spending is a very common problem, and it basically means that an attacker wants to show that he has double spent it when he really hasn't. So for example, if I'm a merchant and this is what is a legit node, and this is the legit node. So now if I'm an attacker, I would create a fake node and I would create small microtransaction that weigh towards it. So even if they all have a weight of 1, so 5 together, 5. Now my fake transaction will have more higher weightage than my legit transaction, which has not been even confirmed yet. And when I'm trying to confirm this node and attach myself to the Tangle, it's more likely that this is more approved than this would be, as And then this, we wouldn't want this, and this scenario is called the heavyweight scenario, and this is not a very good scenario. And that's why we want more randomness and overall. And now there's another scenario called parasite scenario. In this, a tangle is there, and a parasite is created by an attacker. So now the attacker keeps on issuing nodes that keeps on verifying the previous transactions, similar to this one. And now, since everything has already been verified behind it, it's more likely that this is pretty much verified, and then it can easily attach itself to the tangle. And we wouldn't want the scenario either, as it will cause double spending. And now we also have a lazy node scenario. So for example, if this is a tangle and a new transaction is coming in, now you have all these unconfirmed transactions, but this node decides to be lazy and confirms the pre-confirmed transactions, already confirmed transactions, and that's pretty lazy of it. Now, I'm just going to be talking about some of the features of IOTA, and actually not IOTA. So IOTA and the Tangle is quantum resistant. This means it cannot be hacked by quantum computers. Quantum computers are currently in development, and they are not really in white case scenarios. However, it might in the future, they might definitely be there. Tangle relies on proof of work. This means that each node confirms the previous node. I will be discussing more about proof of work and proof of stake and proof of importance and proof of research a bit later, not in this video, but I want you to know that it's, even if you might think that it's technically free, your mobile is doing a small amount of work. It's very negligible, but it is still doing work, and hence it's proof of work. It is very scalable. As you can imagine that as more nodes are joining in, more confirmation will happen. Simple as that. However, in cases of such as Bitcoin, as more deliveries have to be made, the miner gets really exhausted, and he has to confirm so many trucks then. So it's less scalable compared to IOTA. It allows microtransaction. You can even send 1 cent to your friend, and that's very low. Bitcoin currently, to send about $1, you have to pay $30 in fees, which is pretty high if you want to buy, for example, coffee. Now, the use cases of IOTA would be a machine-to-machine economy. So for example, your car can pay a bit to a solar panel that it is using to charge from. Or if you want to take an autonomous car Uber ride, your phone just pays to the car that you take it from. These are just 2 examples that I just came on top of my head, and I can see this app applied really, really recent, in the recent times. And yep, this is all that I have to offer about IOTA for now.